All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into this interview today. I have Katrina, the redheaded chef, with me today. She is the mama of 5 kiddos, and we are just super, super excited to have her with us. So welcome, Katrina.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit how you got into the meal making business. What's your story?
It's something that I've always enjoyed for my family. Um, the planning and preparing meals, it was something my mom always did. We had family dinner every night, mostly because it was more affordable and there was a lot of us kids, but it was also something just to have the family together when we could be off doing all these other things. And so it was something I knew I wanted for my family, so I've just tried my best to do that. And it's just something I enjoy. Whenever there's somebody that needs a meal, it's my favorite to bring them food. I like food, and so I like making other people happy with something that makes me so happy. So when my sister had brought the idea up to me, I just started thinking, yeah, that's something I can do. I think that is a talent of mine. I know not everybody likes it, and
Right.
not everybody is good at it. And so I will
Right.
share that. And people are really busy. Um, Even before this whole chaotic season that we're in right now, with the constant going and coming of life. So just to help out where I could, and this was it's a big part of everyone's day. So that's what got me thinking and going with this.
Well, I love it. And I think it is a fantastic idea. And I have said with my girlfriends and neighbors 1,000 times, like, I just wish I had enough money to have a chef because I don't enjoy making food. And quite honestly, I don't like the way my food tastes. So it makes it really challenging. So when you find someone like you that has a talent like that, I think this is amazing because there's so many little businesses around that do that. But the fact that you just kind of worked it into your mom routine, I think is way, way cool. So super excited about that. So what kind of training is needed to get to a spot where you can feel confident in cooking meals that you can actually sell?
I think just the practice of doing it, and knowing what, I think it's just a lot of practice, because there's a lot of time involved, like getting things to come out at the same time. And that took me a long time. I remember especially being out on my own as an adult, a young adult, the first time, and nothing would come out on time. So it was just learning all of that. And um, I took, in high school, like a food course, like a home ec type course.
Yeah.
And so that was really helpful, just learning all the different things and just trying it out. There's so many, maybe you're a good baker, maybe you're not, because that can be tricky. Maybe it's just the cooking part, on the stove. And so just practicing, lots and lots of practice, and not being discouraged when things don't turn out, because sometimes they don't.
Right. So what do you think that connection was for you? I was just talking to a gal who she sells and she bakes cookies and sells them. And she's almost an artist, but she kind of found like putting her artwork on a cookie was just like what made her happy, which I thought was so interesting. So at what point did you cook with your mom a lot when you were younger? At what point did you kind of develop that passion for it, do you think?
I think it was more, it was for my family, but then doing it for other people. So in our church, we're just really involved in helping, someone's had a baby, there's a funeral, someone's sick, just doing. And I think that, so when it's on top of what you're normally used to doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's that giving that service part as well, and getting to help. That's, I think, where it really hits home for me. Like, that's the love I have, is the just knowing that it's helping somebody else.
Right.
And
so maybe that's a love
sure.
language of yours too. Maybe giving service as a love language and how you express. That's great. So I know that having lots of kiddos around and being a mom, it's really hard to get a business going. How long have you been doing this now?
Just since February, so it's
Okay, so not very
mid-May.
long.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not very long.
So you're in the beginning
Outside
stages,
the
which
home.
is kind of fun. So kind of tell us how this all came together for you. How did you even make this work?
So I was working, and I mean, we're finishing up this school year right now. Finishing up, this is the last week. So I've been working outside the home at the school where my two of my kiddos are my step kids.
Mm-hmm.
So working, I have three, and mostly I have two adults, and it's just crazy all the dynamic of the kids at my house. So
Yeah.
but it was just something I knew I wanted to help my family, but I didn't want to be outside the home anymore.
Right.
Something that would take less time, but that I did enjoy, because I didn't really enjoy having to leave all the time. But I do
Right.
enjoy doing this, even the time that it takes. I'm not complaining by the end of the day. Maybe that my back hurts a little, but from
Right.
standing, but that's different. And so just started there, and what can I do? What's something that I am good at? And just realizing that, yes, people can make really good cookies. Some people are really good at crafts. I'm not good at those things. And this is something that I'm good at, and just taking that time to really evaluate yourself and where you're at, and see what are your strengths and where should you put your time and effort. Where can you?
Yeah.
So that was something for me. Um, and so I just kind of worked it in a little bit, starting in February, because I was still full-time at the school. And then when all this stuff happened, it's just kind of taken off, that I didn't have to go back. I've done things from home for the school.
Yeah.
And so I was able to commit a little bit more time for this. And it's just, and word of mouth, people sharing, I, encourage, share with your friends, and I'll give you a discount, and they do, and it's just been so fun. And they're like, oh, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? And all their friends are like, tell me every time. So
I love that things are just falling into place for you. And I think a lot of moms have had an experience very similar to yours, where they're outside of the home and just trying to figure out how to make something else work for them, where they have a little bit more flexibility. So I think these stories are fun and great. And it's just good for those teens to listen and to hear that we all have different paths, and we all have different struggles and strengths, but it seems to just come together for each individual person at one point or another, which is super fun. So I noticed that you have a really cute little logo. So did you take a few steps? Were there a few expenses to kind of get things rolling for you?
yes, so that was something I knew I wanted right off the bat, and I am so grateful and lucky enough to have a niece that graduated from Weber State with a graphic design degree. So she told me, okay, she told me what the cost, because even though she's family, she still deserves to be paid for what she
Right.
does, because we need to be paid for, we have value in our time and our talents. So um, I showed her some ideas that I was looking at, and she came up with that, and I showed it to my girls, and yeah, then we threw back names back and forth. We're like, what should we call it? And yeah, and so that was one of the first expenses for sure, because I needed to put that out there, and what I wanted to show people what I was doing.
And so I know that you're just barely getting going. Do you feel like it'll take a while to get to the point where your business is consistently profitable? Um, how do you feel like that's going so far? I don't even know if you can predict how long it would take for something new. It's so new, but it's always kind of fun to kind of have that in the back of your mind. It does take time for things to get going and for profits to roll in.
So, and because so the way I work it is I pick the menu each week. And so it's one meal,
Okay.
and you get to pick whether you take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And it's not a full-on restaurant. And so then I have that control over what I'm buying and what I'm preparing, and what maybe is on sale. So taking into account those things, what is worth my time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done things, and I keep track of, the groceries and all the expenses, and I can go back and look, which I was just doing with my husband last night, and I can see, oh, this meal was really good. It was not profitable for especially the amount of time, not so much the ingredients, but it was so time consuming,
Right.
that while super yummy, it was not. So I might not come back. I might not do that one again. but each week taking and looking at all those things. What containers did they need to be delivered in, because those are disposable. I'm not reusing anything, and so I'm doing my best. I love Amazon, getting the best deals on all of those things. And so it has been, it was pretty quick. You can see profit with this, just I think because of the way it works, and they're consumable, most of the things, and so I can see right off the bat each week what was profit made and what, and go from there. Does that make sense?
Well, I think that's even more exciting, the fact that you've made this profitable almost from the get-go, which it can be very challenging, but you are being very smart and strategic about how you approach it, which is super important when running a little business. So I think that's really, really smart and really, really good advice for anyone watching this video. So I know that kind of word of mouth got this going. Are you strictly on Instagram? Are you using any other like online platforms at all right now?
No, yeah, Instagram and my neighborhood Facebook page, because I know, that's a huge chunk of people.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
really smart. And I just clicked on your Instagram, and your followers are high for just barely getting going. So that's exciting. So you're getting some engagement very quickly. Only 14 posts. So you must know a little bit about social media.
I try, and I was fortunate enough. There's, an Instagram account where they try a lot of things. It's mostly food and drink related, soda places, food places, and they share about it. And so when they shared mine, that really helped.
Oh, fantastic. So you had a little bit of help getting the word out. I love that. So how hard has it been? So you still have a full-time job, I imagine.
It's almost done Thursday.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and work through the end of the school year. So has it been, maybe you started at the perfect time where the whole pandemic is going on and everyone's staying home and everything's a little bit off. Do you feel like that was just kind of the perfect little platform to get you going, or has it still been a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out how to get everything up and running?
That, I think it really helped, because people were feeling, it wasn't the reasons why I thought they would order. Yeah. It was completely different, but still valid. They were just, it was too much, because then maybe they were used to going out to eat, or they were used to doing other things, and so now their kids are home all day and want dinner every day. Right. I mean, what is that about? And so that really helped. And I think I had a lot of people, new followers, oh, hey, are you only doing this during the pandemic? So when they were new, they saw that, and I was like, oh no, this is going to keep going. So they were really happy to hear that it wasn't, that our stay home order in Arizona has been lifted, and, still be smart and safe. But they're like, we still get to order from you? Yes, you can.
That's the best news ever.
Yes.
So how do you structure your day right now? How many hours do you put into it? When do you have to cook? And how does that all work? How does an average day look like for you? So
I have one day of pickups where they come to my house and they pick it up themselves, and another day of deliveries. Okay. And so the pickups will be warm food, so that takes a little bit more planning and preparing to make sure they're going to come and pick up warm food. Right. And then the delivery day, it's cold and they have to reheat it themselves, which I also try to put that into account, is what's going to taste the same, or if not still good, reheated. And so I think I've done pretty good, because we're a leftover eating family anyway, and so what's going to taste good? So we've done pretty good about that. And so I usually do most of my cooking, unless there's some prep. I'll do that Wednesday, is the day that they pick up, and I try to get everything as much as I can done for that and the next day. I do as much as I can as possible, one trip to the grocery store, whether that's Costco or just the local grocery store, and get all of that done. So what I'm finding is it's planning to make sure I have enough room in my refrigerator and freezer, with also having a family who wants other meals. Right. So, you might need two fridges. And so that's, and then, the delivery route, and then there's just little things that I'll do when there's downtime, putting in all my orders that on my, spreadsheet and keeping track of those little things. I don't know if I really answered your question. So
no, I think that you are. And I think it sounds like that you've approached it, you're very organized, and you've approached it in a way that it makes sense and is really great. So I think that's really good information.
And it's a learning experience too. Every week, okay, this didn't work, so I'm going to try this better. And so It's still been like, it was a little bit more chaotic in the beginning. And I still had even less orders. So now it's way more planning with the amount of orders that come in.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you'll continue to grow. And at some point you'll have to put a stop or just hire more people. It's okay.
Somebody knocked on the door.
Oh. So how many hours do you think you actually then devote to the business right now? Per day?
Per day? Maybe. If I had to average it for the week, no more than 3.
Okay. So that's great. I think that's really, really good. You should feel pretty happy about that. Yes. A lot more relaxing, and you get to do something you love. So this might be a tricky question, but what would you recommend for teenagers, for girls, to figure out if cooking is for them? I mean, how did you develop that love for it to where this is what I'm good at, this is a talent, this is something I enjoy? Because picking a career is so tricky, and sometimes it's just a huge struggle. And so I didn't know if you had any advice or any thoughts on how to know if this could be a good fit for someone.
Just start helping mom more in the kitchen.
There you go.
Get in there and doing it and taking over that planning. What are you going to make, and what, you can't always please everybody every night, because especially if you have big families, it is not possible. I will tell you that someone is going to be unhappy with some part of it. But just going through and seeing, what do you feel like making, because that you have to also enjoy it yourself. And so that's where I know it started for me, was taking it over for my mom. My mom had to work. She was a single mom for a lot of my growing up years. And during the summer when we stayed home and she would go to work, that was something I loved, taking off her plate when she got home from work. And my sister and I, we had a whiteboard and we draw our whole menu up and do everything. And she got to come home and everything was sitting on the table, and that was just so much fun for us. And I really liked it. So just getting all that experience, and especially when you have your mom there with you, getting to learn, I think, because then before you're out of the house and then you don't know what to cook and you don't know how to cook. So getting that when you have somebody with you to help you.
Do you think that you mainly learned just by experimenting and trial and error, or did you feel like you had a coach of some sort along the way? How did that work for you?
Probably both. Yeah. And then when I didn't have my mom, I just called her all the time.
There you go. Yeah, I think it probably just comes down to just trying things out, and if it seems like a fun idea or it looks fun, then just give it a go. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really develop a talent in a certain area. But I think if you're not just one of those good at it right away, it doesn't mean it can't be for you. Right. Just if it's enjoyable, just keep nurturing it, and eventually it may turn into something that you can really see yourself doing. And I think it's super great that this has just taken off for you and it's going so well. And it's exciting. I think it's just a really fun little niche that maybe someone wouldn't think about doing, but has a lot of potential. So what are your least favorite parts of the business?
The dishes.
Yeah.
And all the numbers, because the cooking really is. That's not my favorite part. So when I have to sit down and tally things and make sure that my husband has, because our grocery bill has obviously gone crazy. And so making sure that I keep a track for him of what he's wanting. And so he's super helpful, and he's very good at the spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. And so like, okay, just tell me what you want, and then I can give that to you. So that's always my least favorite.
Yeah. So
Just
the
let me
fun,
see your happy face when you eat it, but not all the numbers. And,
yeah. So the fun part is got to be the cooking for you and all the creations and just seeing that everyone is very happy with the end
yeah.
product. I'm sure that's super rewarding. So, any final words of advice at all for all the teens out there that are watching these interviews and videos and trying to figure out what they could possibly do with their lives that will give them flexibility so they can be the mom that they want to be, but also just share goodness and just be someone that helps people around them? Any words?
Just keep trying different things. I know I've tried so many things, and I thought I was really good at this, and it worked, and it just found out it was not a good use of my time from my family. So this, I can still include my family,
Yeah.
and they love participating. Like, oh, what are you going to make this week? And
Yeah.
I really like this. You should do this one. And so getting something that really includes everyone, that's what I love, because for me, my family, we aren't together all the time. And so when we are, to make that time meaningful is so important to me. And so this allows that to happen. And yeah, not to be discouraged when, you've tried something and it didn't work out. Just, take a break and try again, even if it's that same thing. Because you can't succeed if you don't fail a few times, and then maybe it's more than a few, but just keep trying is something that we are adamant about in this house, and we preach all the time.
I love that. That's perfect. And I think that's a perfect place to end this interview today. So happy that you spent some time with us today, Katrina. You've really done such an amazing job, some really good words of wisdom, and just really happy for your success. And so we will continue to follow you on Instagram, and we'll put down the information so people can contact you. And of course, I'm in Idaho and you're in AZ, but I'm sure that you'll get some more followers and local people that would love your yummy dinners. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.